Shadyside students do everything well at the last minute. This proclamation, one of the many Mr. Navola-isms relayed to me as I sat in symphonic band, rang painfully true as I sat finishing my speech 2 nights ago. When Ms. Vepedic first asked me to be the graduation speaker, after my nerves settled enough for me to function, I racked my brain trying to come up with a topic that would be relevant to my class as students about to leave the nest, approach new experiences, confront new obstacles, and meet new people. As I contemplated, I came across a fable that I heard at a diversity conference that Shadyside gave me the opportunity to attend my junior year. A horse farmer, wanting to add some variety to his farm, decided one day to go out and purchase a zebra. On the way home, the zebra expressed a fear of acceptance to the farmer, saying, "I look nothing like the horses. How will I fit in?" The farmer, reassuring, told the zebra that he would be fine, as all of the horses were stripes blind. The zebra, confused, asked the farmer, "If they are blind to one of my most intrinsic characteristics, how can they ever fully accept me?" Now, in the story, the farmer stated that the horses were blind to the zebra stripes. And dictionary.com defines blind as, quote, unwilling or unable to perceive and understand. Therefore, in essence, the horses were unwilling or unable to understand the zebra striped quality, a quality so intrinsic to the definition of a zebra. Thus, in their blindness, the horses could never truly accept the zebra for what it was, a striped animal. The notion put forth by this fable highlights a dynamic that is of an inextricable relevance in our lives as students and as members of the human race, and that is how we treat difference. Now, when I say difference, I'm not referring to people, but specifically to the varying qualities that people possess. In the wise words of an Urban Dictionary user, difference is what you get when you put, quote, coolness, smartness, beauty, richness, and other good things together. Whether sitting in the classroom, playing with teammates in sports practices, or singing in the choir with peers, being a student at Shadyside Academy has given us the opportunity to experience difference, to witness firsthand the result of putting good things together. We are exposed to various levels of difference. It can come through the expression of unique personalities, such as random dancing from Pia and Repka at track practice, or Selena Yosef singing sweet melodies to chemicals during organic chemistry labs. Or it can have deeper roots. It can be being the product of varying backgrounds with regards to race, socioeconomic status, age, gender, sexual orientation, ability, and other forms of difference. As we depart from Shadyside Academy, begin to immerse ourselves in new communities and embrace the unknown, difference will continue to characterize our experience. It is inevitable, one of the few constants in life. And depending on how it is treated, difference has the power to both divide and unify. In its presence, there are many routes taken towards coexistence, the easiest of these being to ignore them, to treat differences as if they are non-existent, so as to create a phantom dynamic of shared experience. But ignorance is ugly. I tell you this not only as a campaign plug for Shadyside's strong but silent Diversity Leadership Council, but also as a firm stance against the outcome of neglecting to recognize personal variance. It allows difference to flourish into separation, cultivating a hostile environment of nescience fueled by attitudes of superiority, inferiority, and generalization. Conversely, met with recognition, difference has the power to enlighten and unite. We are constantly presented with the opportunity, and even more so the obligation, to recognize and address difference, to explore the qualities that foster variety so as to use them to create diversity. For it is the presence of difference that effectuates variety, but the cognizance, respect, and embrace of this difference that makes community. We should confront difference with a learning perspective, asking what and not why. Because the more we learn about that which is different, the more familiar we become with the unfamiliar, the better we are provided with one of the most powerful tools in life, perspective. Perspective allows us to establish personal connection, overriding ignorance and disregard of the unknown, allowing institutions to flourish. It is perspective that allows Shadyside students to be able to walk around campus engaging in a meaningful conversation with teachers like Dr. Zatula or Miss Williams, cultivating a strong bond that defies generational differences. It is perspective that respects the presence of various cultural clubs, celebrating them through participation in events like Global Fusion, National Day of Silence, and blood drives. It is this same perspective that welcomes various foreign exchange students that Shadyside hosts during the year, and sends students on Parking Fellowship to extend a helping hand to global communities. It is perspective that encourages students to spend an entire period in Ms. Green and Ms. Williams' modern social justice class, debating opinions on controversial issues, and then to go home and realize that despite this meaningful conversation, your teachers have still decided to assign you a bunch of work. It is perspective that, at the passing of my father earlier this year, urged various people from the Shadyside community, some former members, and some I didn't even know, to offer me innumerable words of encouragement, and for that I am eternally grateful. And just as perspective has given people the tools necessary to make Shadyside the great institution that it is, it has and will continue to provide us with the tools necessary to leave the places in which we discover ourselves after we leave here better than we found them. In the words of renowned author and poet Audre Lorde, it is not our differences that divide us. It's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate these differences. And this concept of cultural, physical, and social competence is similar to that of infinity, in that it can never fully be reached. In essence, the limit of cultural competence as our lives approach various experiences is infinity. And just to confirm, yes, I did just use calculus in my graduation speech. Shout out, Miss Witt. But the acceptance of that which is different and unfamiliar is really an advancing goal that warrants continuous effort. There will always be something more to learn that will differ from our way of thinking and take us out of our comfort zone. So, class of 2014, we did it. We made it through 12 or 13 years of learning, making mistakes, and achieving, being able to lean on the shoulders of our teachers, parents, and peers along the way. We now stand on the precipice of diverse greatness. And as we independently embark on our next journeys of experiential learning, of course, after we celebrate, turn up, all that good stuff, I challenge you, along with myself, to constantly strive for consciousness, using difference as a mechanism for unification, to trust in the tools and skills gained as students at Shadyside and integrate them into our daily approaches to life. And in all that we do, I urge us to consciously avoid complacency in the endeavor to promote perspective, diversity, and community. Thank you.